Christmas, for most people, ends quietly. A final gathering, a last meal, the slow dismantling of decorations and routines. The tree comes down, the lights are unplugged. The music fades into silence, replaced by the dull return of ordinary days. There is relief in that ending, a sense of closure, a feeling that something has been completed and can now be set aside. But inside the British monarchy, Christmas does not behave this way. It does not end when the calendar turns. It does not dissolve neatly into January. It does not retreat politely into memory like a well-behaved guest. Instead, it lingers. It stretches. It continues, governed by rules that are never announced, never explained, and rarely noticed by those outside the palace gates. Because for the monarchy, Christmas is not a holiday, it is a structural event, and structure, once loosened, cannot simply be snapped back into place without consequence. Institutions that survive centuries do not allow emotional surges to pass without regulation. They do not indulge sentiment without containment. They do not confuse warmth with weakness. For 70 years, Queen Elizabeth II understood this better than anyone alive. Her Christmases were exercises in controlled continuity, familiar faces, familiar routines, familiar restraint. Every year looked almost exactly like the last. To the public, it seemed dull. To the institution, it was stability in its purest form. Stability was her language. Consistency was her shield. Under her reign, nothing was allowed to feel improvised. Even celebration followed a script, especially celebration, because unpredictability is the enemy of authority. But the crown has passed, and with King Charles III, something subtle but unmistakable has changed. Not in spectacle, not in ceremony, not in outward display, but in timing. Under the new reign, Christmas does not conclude. It decays, slowly, deliberately, almost imperceptibly. Its rules bleed into the weeks that follow. Its atmosphere lingers beyond its official end. Its behavioural codes remain active long after the last public appearance. The festive season becomes a transitional zone, a controlled corridor through which the monarchy passes before fully re-emerging into public life. To the outside world, this looks like nothing at all. No announcements, no declarations, no visible signals. But inside the royal system, everything depends on it, because institutions that release tension too quickly fracture. Power that relaxes abruptly invites disorder. Authority that allows emotion to linger unchecked weakens its own foundations. King Charles understands this instinctively, not because he is dramatic, not because he is nostalgic, but because he has spent a lifetime watching systems fail when they rush to normalize. And so, when the rest of the country moves on, the monarchy does not. The rules remain. If you've ever wondered how power actually survives, not in theory, not in textbooks, but in practice, you're in the right place. Make sure you're subscribed, because these stories build on one another. What comes next only makes sense if you understand what came before, because the most important mechanisms of authority are never announced. They are felt. When the Christmas Day walk to church ends, the public assumes the performance is over. The cameras leave. The headlines move on. The spectacle appears complete. It isn't. What follows is quieter, less visible, but infinitely more important. The period after Christmas inside the royal household is governed by a separate set of expectations, rules that do not exist for the public and would feel deeply uncomfortable if they did. They exist to prevent collapse, not emotional collapse, institutional collapse, because moments of warmth are dangerous for rigid systems. They soften boundaries. They invite familiarity. They blur hierarchy. Left unchecked, that softness becomes erosion. So the monarchy does not allow Christmas to end. It controls how it fades. Number 10. The refusal to resume normal. Time. One of the first rules that continues after Christmas is also the easiest to miss. Time does not immediately return to normal. The king's schedule remains deliberately reduced. Meetings are fewer. Engagements are spaced further apart. Decisions that could be made quickly are postponed. This is not rest. It is recalibration. King Charles understands that institutions function like complex machinery. They operate on rhythm, on tempo, on momentum. Christmas disrupts that rhythm by design. It slows the system. It introduces emotional variables. It alters internal dynamics. Attempting to instantly restore full operational speed would cause strain. So the monarchy does not snap back into routine. It eases into it. That easing protects authority, because power that rushes appears anxious, and anxious power invites challenge. Number 9. Why informality is quietly withdrawn. Christmas allows temporary familiarity, shared meals, softer conversations, moments where hierarchy loosens just enough to remind everyone that they are still human. But afterwards, informality is carefully withdrawn, not announced, not enforced, simply retracted. Conversations become more measured. Titles return to regular use. Interactions cool by degrees so small they are barely perceptible. This is not emotional distance. It is role restoration. The monarchy relies on hierarchy to function. Christmas relaxes it briefly to reinforce family bonds. But allowing that relaxation to linger would blur lines that cannot afford ambiguity. King Charles restores distance not out of coldness but necessity. Power requires clarity. Number 8. The discipline of the table. Returns. First food is one of the most revealing aspects of royal life. During Christmas, indulgence is permitted, even encouraged. Tradition demands it. But once the holiday passes, dietary discipline returns with remarkable speed. Mealtimes relock, portions shrink, certain foods vanish without explanation. This is not health obsession, it is symbolic order. King Charles has long viewed restraint as a moral language. Consumption reflects governance. Control at the table signals control everywhere else. If indulgence lingers, discipline weakens. So the table is the first place where authority quietly reasserts itself. Order begins with appetite. Number 7. Silence as a transitional tool. The quiet of Christmas does not end abruptly. In the days that follow, volume remains low. Emotional expression remains limited. The household enters a period of deliberate calm. This silence is not suppression. It is containment. King Charles understands that emotional spillover creates instability. Loudness invites leakage. Expression invites interpretation. Silence allows the system to absorb intensity without rupture. Quiet becomes insulation, not absence. Protection. Number 6. Visibility is withheld on purpose. After Christmas, the king does not immediately return to full public exposure. Appearances are spaced. Messaging is restrained. Visibility is rationed. This is not retreat. It is control. Authority weakens when it becomes too accessible too quickly. Familiarity dissolves mystique. Overexposure invites scrutiny at the wrong moment. The monarchy must re-emerge deliberately. Power returns slowly or not at all. If you're finding value in how these unseen mechanics work, take a moment to subscribe. These insights are cumulative, and missing one weakens the rest. Number 5. Staff rules. Stay tight for a reason. After the holidays, staff protocols remain unusually strict. Access remains limited. Movement remains logged. Schedules remain rigid. This is not mistrust. It is reinforcement. Periods of relaxation create drift. Drift creates errors. Errors become vulnerabilities. King Charles ensures the system tightens before habits decay. Order is restored internally before it becomes visible externally. Number 4. Rituals are allowed to fade, not end. King Charles does not abruptly end Christmas rituals. He lets them dissolve. Decorations linger slightly longer than expected. Traditions taper rather than stop. The season decays instead of concluding. This slow fade preserves meaning. Rituals lose power when they are rushed. Ending them sharply creates rupture. Allowing them to dissolve reinforces continuity. Time bends to the crown, not the other way around. Number 3. Clothing signals the transition. Even dress reflects post-holiday rules. Colours darken. Formality returns. Casual clothing becomes rare again. These choices are not aesthetic, they are communicative. The monarchy never appears uncontained, not even privately, not even after celebration. Control is worn. Number 2. Why none of this is explained. The monarchy does not explain these rules because explanation invites debate. Debate invites judgment. Judgment weakens authority. Silence preserves inevitability. The rules persist because they are assumed, not justified. Number 1. Christmas as institutional maintenance. Ultimately, King Charles does not treat Christmas as a pause. He treats it as maintenance, a controlled stress test, a managed release of emotion, a ritualized disruption followed by careful reintegration. The rules that continue afterward are safeguards. Christmas ends when the crown decides it ends, not before. Before we move toward the conclusion, a quick note for those who want to support this channel more directly. If you're interested in members-only videos, early access, and small perks like custom badges, you can join our YouTube membership for just a few bucks. It helps keep this level of research and production sustainable. Now, the final reflection. We often imagine power as something loud: commands, declarations, visibility. But the monarchy survives through something far quieter: control through rhythm, authority through restraint, stability through delayed release. The rules that continue after Christmas are not outdated traditions. They are pressure valves. They protect the crown from emotional excess and structural weakness. King Charles understands that institutions do not collapse from attack. They collapse from erosion. By allowing Christmas to fade instead of end, he preserves continuity in a world addicted to immediacy. So the real question is not whether these rules are strange, it's whether modern institutions have forgotten why such rules exist at all. Do these rituals preserve stability, or do they isolate the monarchy from the world it serves? I'd genuinely like to hear your thoughts in the comments. If this deep dive helped you see the monarchy differently, hit the like button. It helps these stories reach the right audience. And for more investigations into the hidden psychology and structure of royal life, make sure you're subscribed, because the most powerful rules are never the ones written down.